Sorry, I have some coffee brewing. So I was just kind of in between a whole bunch of stuff. And I'm just going to go ahead and say that I do believe that the balloon has popped or that the foam has risen to the surface or it's like, yeah, the candle wick is, now burned out. So yeah, so much is going on. Welcome to the channel. If it's your first time coming to hang out, my coffee's about done and it won't be bubbling in your ear. I apologize. And thank you for coming back if you're returning. And also, I just want to I got a big download. I always do, but this morning, I was talking with a lovely, 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 amazing woman, and I'll just call her S. And she was just amazing and beautiful. And again, it's like we're all the things that we've all gathered throughout our, lifetimes, our lifetime, right? And that we are oblivious to go into things because we have good hearts. And it doesn't make us bad, and it actually doesn't make the other people, places, or things bad either, right? Because we're just getting introduced to things that we didn't know, or which also introduces us to parts of ourselves that we didn't know. And in return, because the word return is where I got flagged, I'll say, to start this conversation, right? Because it made me think of Saturn return. So when we start to, right, like deal with the other side of the yin yang symbol, right, which is black and white, which really just represents positive and negative energy, right? Like the magnet that's on the title here, right? Every thought we have is positive and negative. So when we get introduced to the other side of the pole, because it doesn't mean that we never had any experience with those things. We just may not have known it or called it the same. And I'm being like, look, and Noelle keeps coming up too. And I'm being guided to Chris and Noelle. Treetops. It's like something sticking in my eye. It keeps sticking out in my eye. So there's a reason. So yeah, which I also have aware. And then mistletoe, missile incoming. Get off my toe. Anyhow, playing with words is important. So Saturn return, the things that we think we know, right? Like mistletoe, which again, mistletoe, it was used also as like a pagan ritual. And we're like, oh, we're going to stand under a mistletoe and kiss. Yeah, but it was known as like a poison, so to speak. Uh, it is a poison. Oh, I don't know what I'm doing here. Oh no, how do I get this off? Hopefully that didn't just appear on my screen. I don't even know. I pulled up my texts on my recording. Anyhow. So yeah, Saturn returns. So as we get introduced to the things that we call and then as we get introduced to them, right, us as humans, we have all these names and labels and things, so they can even then appear more scary. Right, like narcissistic behavior, sociopaths, right? Masochists, which those are not nice words, right? Psychopaths, which in return, again, Saturn return, a lot of the time it's like I don't deny those things being bad. They are, absolutely. It's just, right, I'm kind of a veteran, unfortunately, with those behaviors, whether because what is a drug addict, or what is an alcoholic, or what is a codependent, what is a sociopath, what is a sex addict, right? What is someone that overeats or develops anorexia? Why do these things, right? And there are different reasons. Sometimes it is mental, sometimes it occurs due the environment one's grown up in and the way one, right, has spoken to self or has been spoken to and accepts, right, those replay records that get played. I'm not good enough, or I need to look this way, or I'm not going to be liked if, right? All the things we tell ourselves in our head that prevent us from moving forward. And I do it too all the time, right? Which was so like the lovely lady I was just speaking of. It was so nice. You know, we spoke for a really we had a really nice conversation about many things. And again, where sometimes where one of us may be lacking, the other one has all this information, right? And that's how usually generally it always works, right? Because divine timing is always at play. So even though, right, like the names and labels say that we may work under titles of things, right? Like a police officer, a doctor. Should you trust a doctor? Most people go to a doctor looking for what? Help. Or they're just going to get checked, right? Because that's what they think they should do, right? So you maybe just going for a regular checkup. But otherwise, it's right to seek for help because something is right off balance or manifested, right? Something has developed that we're unsure of and don't know how to take care of. So we need to ask for assistance with hopefully someone that has right an idea and some knowledge based upon those things, right? But the people that we go to for those things, we have to use discernment. And if we need to go at all, right? A lot of the time, right, our body is a big lab, right? And a huge library. And so is Earth. Earth is a school, right? The rocks and the leaves and the water and the air are like the Earth library. And the universe is inside of us. And you know, whether we're speaking of 72 interdimensional demons or the 72 lesser and greater keys of Solomon, which is demons, or in say like Muslim tradition and what have you, right, that's the 72 virgins, or in, what is it? It's 72 diseases. Is it in Asian culture? It might be it might be Chinese, right? So the different, those are just, I'm just giving you a few examples, and I might have mixed them up because I mix things up all the time. So please don't ever quote me. Always take what resonates, leave the rest, and do your own research. Because sometimes, you know, again, it's like I'm just kind of swimming in the water. So it's like Titanic. Everything's floating around in the water. So it's like, oh, there's a person over there. There's a suitcase over there. I could see that over there, right? There's a fish touching my leg or something, right? So it's like when we're in the water, everything's floating and all over the place. So I'm not, again, not again, however, when I speak and because it's channeling, right? Everything's a current. So I allow information to just flow through me, right? My plan was just to read this and get out of here quick because I wasn't even planning on doing this. I just came in, a quick cup of coffee. And I got put on this, and now I was going to read this, but now I'm talking about this, right? So plans don't always work out the way that man plans, the way that we plan. And I'm very, very veteran at that as well. That's why people can get very upset with me if I'm not doing something on their time or right in due time, when have you. And it's like I very much have compassion and empathy for that because I do, and I know it can be very frustrating if I'm like just seem like la-di-da or like I'm ignoring you or I don't care or what have you, and it's the farthest thing from what's going on. I'm very aware and I see you and I absolutely care. You're very important to me, and whatever else is going on is very important to me, right? So but being an empath too, we have awareness, right? It's like when there's a screen, like if there's something a little, there's a lot of different things that could be coming into play into, right, an equation, a formula. So sometimes if we like, it's like if we put attention to something that's negative, it can grow and develop into something more negative, right? Sometimes it's just not the right time. It's like, are we supposed to cross the street? Is it red, yellow, red light, yellow light, or green light? Is the walk sign blinking? You know, it's like, and even if it is, we still have to look both ways, right? And use our own judgment and discernment before we go stepping into the street, right? Just because the sign says yes, walk, or the light is green, doesn't mean we can go, right? Sometimes we need to, right? Sometimes there's another something coming into play that it's not safe for us then to walk across the street, even though that's what the sign says, right? So we're learning, because narcissism and socialism, this is all tying together. I'm not all over the place, I assure you, and I promise you. It's all coming together. Wait for it. And please like, subscribe, and hit the bell, and share with a soul tribe member as well, you know, or introduce someone else so that we can continue to develop and help and grow with one another, and right, just keep swimming through all these murky waters and get untangled from, right, the weeds. It's like, we don't have to know everything. It's like, yo, you see me, I see you, just keep swimming. We're all holding on to something, right? And we're all letting go of whatever we can, and we don't always know what that is or what that will be, right, in the end, right? And there's no end, right? End of the world just means end of a specific time. The way that we think and the way that we feel, right? The old paradigm. The world is made up of thoughts and feelings. The earth is completely different, right? Our material things and material values is also completely different from the earth, right? The earth is a living entity and a growing organism. It grows things, right? Things develop all over and throughout the earth, right? So anyhow, so let's get back to, wait, where was I? What? Because I'm like, it's all coming together. How do I know? I'm like, yeah. To grandmother's house we go. Sorry, just taking a little sip of my coffee there. So as we're going through all these changes and what have you and paradigms, it's like, as we see each other, right, we're letting go of what we need to let go of. And we're coming into, right, everything happens for a reason, right? Like S and I were both agreeing on the phone. It's like, right, divine timing. And it's just beautiful to hear, you know, I'm so grateful. She, you know, said, I believe in you. And like, you know, that is such a great thing to hear, you know. And so I just want to reiterate that to you, whoever's watching, and to us, you know, I believe in you too. And yeah, no, we didn't meet for no reason. And I don't like to also freak people out too much, because like I get all like giddy and like like when my soul recognizes others, right? You know, like a name brings up a vibration, and through conversation, sometimes, right? um it brings up more, right, awareness, more colors of the rainbow, right? Which is how I see in many ways, which also gets, not to get, is this isn't, so I'm not getting sidetracked, but that also goes into autistic children, Asperger's, and say manic depressive and bipolar, and all the other, right, alphabet names and what have you, because children and children also, that, and adults alike, because we're all children, but that have hearing, they say impairment, or right, dumb, they're not really talking. There is nothing wrong with those children. Those are our rainbow starseed babies. And like what just happened the other day, again, I'm not putting too much attention to that, and I'm not going to discuss it. It happened in Texas, right? So when things like that occur, like a demonic presence has manipulated the mind of a person, right, to enact a horrific, right, whatever, to get a reaction from the people, because then they can feed off that negative energy. So it's complete love and absolute respect for everyone that is going through anything having to do with that. And this is what I was speaking of before about, like, it may seem like I don't care. I absolutely care. I don't touch too much on the topics that they put out like that, because I'm not going to allow that to grow into any, I'm not going to give it attention like that. Because I'm aware from the source it come from, that it comes, yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like, yeah, no. And that's not getting any bigger. That's just going to get stomped, ignored, and dissolve. You know what I'm saying? That energy. We're not going to, yeah. And it is, right, upsetting, right? The word set, to cause an upset. So now how many, right? Like, so when things of that nature are occurring, again, this is a grand level of narcissistic, sociopathic, gambling, addictive, immature, over emotional, underdeveloped behaviors of man, right? Of all of us, right? So, but, and it goes from different extremes and, right, varying degrees, again, of the rainbow. So when they're trying to attack our starseed babies so that they don't develop into whatever and etc. I mean, I didn't even, but that's a lot of that, right? Because again, Set or Harad doesn't want the Christ to be born. That's the same thing with, right? Is there a difference between the word COVID and Corona? Look up the etymology and the metaphysical meanings to Corona, right? Which represents, again, the crown chakra and the solar plexus. So that's a natural DNA upgrade where we're shedding, right? Killing, so to speak, our human self. We ain't killing it. It's like, you graduate high school, you did really good. It's like, I killed that. Meep, I just got confirmation, right? Not, and then you're moving on to another chapter of your life, right? It's a death to high school because you're moving into, right, more independence, more adulthood, maybe college, maybe not, maybe hanging out, whatever, right? Infinite possibilities. 1717, right? So we don't always have to take things into, like, right, when people say things outside, right, and we're like, oh my gosh, we want to take it into that perspective of, so like when we're killing the human part of ourselves, right, that's nothing wrong with our human parts, right? And that doesn't mean like our body. Again, this is my flesh, right? I'm a multi-dimensional spiritual. It's an organ. It breathes, breathe and stretch. It moves with my body. It's the largest organ, and I'm living within it, right? It encapsulates the rest of my mechanisms, right? Get your motor running, right? We don't have to think before for our heart to beat or our bladder to tell us we have to go to the bathroom, right? For the blood to be running up, right? The Red Seas, it travels up through our veins, and it's blue under the skin, right? It doesn't turn to the color red until oxygen is introduced, right? So anything outside of the skin is the red bloodline, is of God, right? Is of and as well as the blue, right? Red and blue make purple, which is the royal colors, right? So blue's running through the blood in our veins, right? And if we happen to accidentally harm ourselves, right, and bleed or something happens, right, then it appears red, right? So it's just, that's a whole nother video I could talk about on another day in depth, right? Because that's important, right? Red pill or blue pill. And that's actually, look, right, too, like Osiris, the avatars, they're known as being blue, right? Or if you've ever heard of like the green children from what the village, like Wolf something village, Wolf. But again, it's like, so if you're from inner earth, or we're breathing different air, oxygen, copper blood, right? Different metals, right? And then being out and depending on the food we eat, and right, it's making me think too, like, I got raw blue I got from my eyeball. So yeah, we change with the times, right? We have to adapt. Our bodies adapt naturally to what they need to, right? It's like it's spring right now, allergies are out, so like my nose and everything's all like itchy, and I've been sneezing a little bit, especially if I look at the sun. The sun makes me sneeze. And my voice is a little extra deep, you know. So it's like we have our bodies react, right? Women run through cycles, right? Which that's feminine energy. So do you if you're biologically a male, right? You just may not have so much of the emotional or water body activated yet. Right, that may be what is becoming activated now, which can feel really not good, right? So if you're used to not feeling and all of a sudden you start experiencing, right, feelings, it's like, ew, or what is that? I also want to just quickly touch on the word power, right? What's the word power? Where does power come from? Power is feminine, just like emotion. So when one wants power, right, that's a feminine energy, right? If someone's mad or jealous, angry, those are feminine emotions, right? So they can, as mad as people are and as much as they want, they demand, they can get as loud and demanding as they want. But that just means that they don't have ability to control their emotional body. They short circuit. They allow that temperature, the mercurial temperature, to just get like lightning bolts. And it's like, if it's this, and about it, right? They may not tell you it's either this or ABC. All right, as long as you play along with my little game. And that's going on a grand scale too. We're all experiencing it on personal levels one way or another, in our personal relationships, in our maybe inner environment, again, inside the blue, right? Or we're witnessing it more on the outside to introduce it to our, right, universe inside of us, so that we can alchemize that energy, right? Again, it's like I was sharing with the girl, and my friend and I speak of this often. It's like, right, atmosphere goes up, right? What goes up must come down. Spinning wheels go round and so that's like, right, or what's the clouds like right here? Like the clouds are thoughts, right? How many, right? My forefathers with horsemen ride. So what does a cloud store? Right? Like I'm using my phone, right? Like, and I don't have an iPhone anymore. I have a Galaxy, but our phone that had iCloud storage, right? On my computer. So what gets stored, right? Big data. Now God the Father, his throne is heaven. Heaven represents the blue sky, clouds, right? The Lord comes in on a cloud. He's holding and storing all the information and gives it to Big Dada, the universal Father, who's above this sky that we see, that appears to be blue presently with clouds, right? But that's only because my eyes see in an upside down view, and because the sun reflects and bounces off of the waters, and it appears to be the last color of the rainbow that we describe as blue, right? But at the end of the day, when the sun sets, it can be peachy and red and orange, sometimes purplish, right? Pink vapor stew. I mean, hello, kitty. Love, love, love. And then too, what do I have here? And I'm gonna read the thing because I'm bouncing about, and I do have things I definitely need to do. I feel good. I got a few things accomplished. I feel horrible because there's a lot of things going on that are out of my control, and a lot of things that have been set up to make it look too like that we're like. So when people question us, it's like there's things that go on in between time, right? That again, people would like an answer, or that they're on time, or they're being put under a demanding timeline, right? Deadline. So everybody's like trying to grab and, was it pick up sticks? Grab for the sticks. And then also too, lots of mother effers are trying to fucking scrambling and trying to run around and pick up like whatever the hell that they or hide or cover up what they thought was so funny and they thought was like a for sure plan. Yeah. So whatever. But yeah, so that's why it's like, yeah, no abortions. And I'm not talking about, see, that's why it's like, I'm not talking about what they're putting out in the public and the media. I don't give a, that's not, I do give a fuck, but that's not what I'm referring to. I'm talking about like when something is put out in the media, to me, I work with metaphysics. So again, I see what's going on in the surface and putting out into the mainstream. And that's not really my stage to act out upon. But behind the veil, with what's really going on, right? She who rides the owl brings justice. So the things that are going on behind the veil, because someone has to anchor a story, right? Jesus is a fisher of men. So the media has news anchors, right? To hold down, right? The prescripted narrative, right? Someone has to write down or type a narrative for the foxes, for the foxes to anchor and hold down and put out into the main vein, the mainstream, right? But if you remember the poem, what is it, A Road Less Traveled, right? It's like, sometimes it's better to, right? Listen to your heart. Don't worry about being like everybody else. Don't worry what everybody else is doing. Don't worry about what everybody else is saying and listening to and says this is what's going on and that's what it is and you better hurry up or else and didn't you and how come and it's right. Thank you so much for your Karen's consideration. I will have to take a look at that. Have a good day. That's all you gotta say. That's all. Thank you so much for your care and consideration. I'll have to take a look at that. Have an amazing day. Stop them in their tracks. Because they want to feed. So now you've acknowledged them. Thank you so much for your care and consideration. Did you hear what's going on? Did you get a shot? If you didn't do that, how come you're still with so-and-so? Did you not? Well, it might not. So thank you so much for your 2 cents. Here's your pennies back. You're going to need them. I thank you so much for your care and concern. I appreciate your care and concern. I appreciate your care and concern. So I'm acknowledging whatever they're saying. I'll have to take a look at that. And I'm responding and allowing and letting them know that, right, that I hear what they're saying and I'm going to do something about it, right? I'm accountable. I hear what you're saying and I hear you. Now, and thank you so much. That doesn't mean I'm going to do anything with that and get back to you and let you know what I did with that. It's not really your business, right? So it's like whoever's trying to get in my business, right? We're walking businesses. It's like if somebody else is, right, window shopping in your windows, that's a different feeling than like how I was just referring that, right? I connected with this wonderful, beautiful, amazing, right? Other S, because my name starts with an S too. So like I said, I'm just going to call her S, right? Which was just spontaneous and divine and beautiful and amazing. And like, right, we just happened to, right, like have, it was right on time. And right, only thing right. That, that's it. Anytime you need to call me, hopefully, right, something will develop. Like it already did right there. It's like seeds already developed. We already just planted a garden together. That's why it's like great. So it's like we just bloomed a garden by the conversations that I had with her yesterday and today. We planted a whole bunch of seeds and a whole bunch of little flowers and what have you will bloom from that. Right? Because that's how like Mother Nature creates. That's how creation is created by us getting together and sometimes not meaning to, right? We don't necessarily plan getting together. We just happen to, right, be at the right place at the right time, or maybe it's for another reason, and then it ends up, right? Wow. So we never really know. I just lost my whole train of thought. It just went like poof. It just was like a complete poop to some extent there. Oh Lord, S. So, which is different than someone trying to invest. Window shopping, that's what I was speaking of. So, right, someone that sees something inside of you, they see a light or they see an energy, and it's like, or it could bring up jealousy, envy in them, and it could be conscious or unconscious with the other person or us. It could be that's what's getting woken, right? That's what's being awoken from the dead, right? Something that we don't know about or that we've shut off or that just hasn't activated within us yet, that we are, right, ignorant or virgin to. So it's really important to feel what you're feeling, go through the thoughts and the feelings, breathe, because with our breath is how we calm down the emotional body and the mental faculties. So we're not overloading, right, storage space, which I'm famous for on my phones and I'm sure everywhere else. It just keeps coming. Like all my tabs open on my computer. Oh Lord. And so yeah, as we learn to breathe and use the breath of the Holy Spirit to allow, say, the Holy Ghost to enter, because the ghost represents something that's dead or from the past that's coming through and being risen up, right? Or passing through for us to see and acknowledge. And then with the breath of Holy Spirit, we're able to, right, allow that to come in, bring unconditional love to it and everything in between, and allow it to rise up, acknowledge it, and allow it to pass, right, birth it. I don't want to hang on to it. We don't want to wait. It may be having a kind of, that may be something within ourselves. So, right, the way that we perceive to look at things, right, our perception, right, like Perseus from mythology, right, who takes out Medusa, supposedly. But what is that? He's always looking back, and how does he do that? He does that by looking back in the reflection of his shield, because if he looked directly at her, she'd be able to turn him to stone. Right? So the doors of perception, right? Perseus, or like the band, the Doors, as what they represent is really, right, but I think it was like too long, so they just called themselves the Doors, right? Instead of the doors of perception. But it's all the windows that we can look through, the different shoes, like putting myself in other people's shoes without trying to shove my foot in them. I can relate, right, to other people, places, and things, and empathize by putting myself in that position, allowing that wave to come back and forth, or forth and back, right? Or rise up and down, whichever way it's coming from, allowing that current to be what it is and alchemize. And, right, I am love and you are love, so below as above. I am safe. You are safe. Right? Use positive mantras to reprogram yourself, right? I am aware of what I need to see, and whatever I do not need, I can allow to let go of and let it be, right? Presently. Right? I can only eat so much on my plate and in my face at, at one moment at a time. So when others want to pile so much manure and other things in our, or attach a fishing hook to us or anchor a story or information or keep us waiting or give us the runaround or deflect and change the subject. Oh, how come da 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 da, whatever it may be, to look over there, how about that, acting aloof also, right? Like, I don't know what you're talking about. But they do. It's like, okay, I'll be back. I'll talk to you soon. Love you. Just, learn how to, because it's like we're not going to continuously feed, right? The blob. The blah, 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 blah. Right? Because when we feed negativity, it just turns into like a big mass, a blob. And then it's uncontrollable, right? And then nobody can breathe. And that ain't cool. And I don't want to be swimming around in that. Thank you very much. Okay. Do you? Because hell no. Touche. Okay, let's see. So again, thanks so much for coming and hang out. And I really appreciate, oh wow, this is long. 1, 2, 3, and a third pages. All right, well, let's get into this. I appreciate you coming and hanging out. And again, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell if you'd be so kind. And pass the information as well. And yeah, like she was saying, get things started. I'm working on it. I really am. It's like, yeah, talk about gaslighting, narcissist, anything I've tried to build or do, honey, it's like just gotten taken or turned into something else. So when I get guided to not mess with it because other people are sticking their hands and feet or window shopping and trying to mess with what I'm trying to build, or right, they're messing with a pregnant mama, it's like, yeah, again, right, nah, thanks for your care and concern. No, not you, but what I'm speaking of, the reason I've had to like pull out or hold back to a certain extent with many things in my life and in this now time, especially the last 5-7 years, right, not having a job, being paid money for, right, losing my place of residence with my 3 daughters, right, which was like wild, like in 2015, right, 2016 twin flame pandemic, and it was like that's when like I guess first one, the twin flame, we got awoken, which also that goes into the V word, right, that's the Trojan horse. So others that were impersonating, mimicking, and it's like, again, throw throw out a bone and see who comes running, right? So there's a lot of false prophets, false twins, false impersonating energies that, right, us as the, say, first wave, I don't know about first wave of twin flames, anyhow, because I know lots of others have been, like, say, awoken and not for a long time, but I'm speaking specifically about, like, yeah, the twin flame, which I don't speak of very often, and there's a reason for that too. So the twin flame, right, like Jesus, Mary Magdalene energy and rainbow star seeds and etc., all the colors of the rainbow, you know who you are if you're a twin. Just like, like, right where you're, what state or whatever you were born in, right? It's like, you know if you are, and if and not. And we as twins also know to a certain extent who is and who isn't. It's like someone else trying to say that they're your cousin and or whatever, and it's like, from what part of the family? you know oh, your brother that married your aunt that slept with your whatever once removed. It's like, wait, what, huh? That's cool. Okay, I don't know. So that's cool. If that's cool, all right. You might be a different kind of twin, right? Which everybody will wake up into or at some point the rainbow body, which has to do with twin flames, right? The soul carries the right vibrations of the rainbow. So each color is a different vibrational frequency, right? Like the beautiful card in front of me. So as a twin, like any twin, it's like one that shares a soul with another. So not everyone got split that way, right? Not everybody's a twin. However, everyone does have a twin on the opposite side, because every action has an equal or opposite reaction. So in order to have balance, there's always going to be like an evil twin or a black and white, the one on the other side. So that doesn't mean the other one's bad either, though, because they appeared like seconds or moments after or before. We could be the other side one, right? Who knows? Which came first, the chicken or the egg? Then that's a different twin, though. That's not twin flame, right? That's like yin and yang. That's different. Right? One's probably black and one's probably white, or one's probably a girl and one's probably a guy, as far biological or whatever. Opposite poles, right? That's different. Same as Earth and the world, right? Or material and your flesh, your physical body. Different. Oh, and 4 thoughts and 4 fathers and 4 horsemen, right? How many thoughts does it take to, how many idea to a thought? If we have an idea, is the idea the same as a thought? Right? And we can be in thought, thinking. We could have a pre-thought, right? Something that's like, oh, but then it doesn't come into fruition, right? Afterthought, right? What the heck is the other one I'm trying to think of? Oh, pre-thought, afterthought. Shoulda, coulda, woulda thought. That's not the... Wait. Forethought, afterthought, in thought. I have to look it up. I'm having a blank. My thoughts, my isn't that something? While I'm trying to think of an idea and a thought. That's always how it is, though, right? When we're trying, it doesn't work. Just has to come naturally. All right, so I'm going to try to hopefully keep this under an hour. Let's try to see how we do here. So... don't mind, I may butcher this name. This is number 8, which is also, right, infinity, lightning loops, and, right, 7, 8, 9, like the alligator. 7, what happened to 9? Right, the alligator, right, 7, 8, 9. So, in dimensions and what have you, there's not really an 8th dimension. Right, my forefathers, forethoughts, on the opposite side, right, is like reincarnation cycle. But there's an invisible circle under that 8. So add another circle to that. So you have awareness, because, right, it's 33, 33, and 33, and then 0.1 to make 100%. Right? So, and funny, right? I was like, this is 3 pages and a third. So yeah, the third is really important. And we only ever have a third of our energy within our physical vessel at a time. So we can only contain a third, like it's like a battery, right? A positive and a negative charge within our capsule, within our physical body. Just pretend it's our body right now. So only a third of our, right, energy can be contained within this egg, our body, at a time. Right, and you have like your head, like when you write a paper, you have the head, the body, and the closing, right? The introduction, the body, the closing, however you want to look at it. Same with the body, right? Same if you're doing if you're doing coding, right? You still gotta, you need the header, you gotta start, it's the same, always the same, that's why I write the universal God, mathematical, right? Gotta have a head, a body, and a foot, and feet. Top, a middle, and a bottom. Always thirds. Never in just two, right? 8. You won't want it. But being in the 8 was reincarnation cycle, so that had to occur for a long time. But now realize and recognize too that, right, from the dust you came, and the dust you shall return. Right, that's of the earth, earthly, right? But now earth is a star, and there's cosmic dust. So that has to do with cosmic dust. So the cosmos is the light codes that are igniting and rising up the kundalini, right? The central nervous system, the DNA codes that haven't been yet activated, right? It's like, oh, you need to do an update on your phone, right? This is an update on your body, right? On your system. And we want the brain and the central nervous system to be able to fluently flow, right? We have a left hemisphere and a right hemisphere of the brain. And in the center is the cerebral cortex, right? So that's kind of like the black hole. All the stuff going on in there, and which is also where the subconscious resides, underneath, right? Like under the nut, in the nut, and the pineal. Which for a long time, right? Drink fluoride, etc. That calcifies the pineal gland, so that people are walking around deaf, dumb, and blind, right? So to speak. That's with amnesia. We don't know who we are, but we know we came from the stars. And I kind of remember, but not completely. Something about, right? Jafar. Aladdin. Just kidding. Now I'm getting silly. Alibaba and the 40 Thieves. Okay. So yeah, so number 8, which is very significant, that keeps also coming up. And yeah, in dimensions, it's like 7th dimension, but there's not an 8th, and then it goes to 9, and then there's like 10, 11, 12, there's many. So 1 and 2 is same as mineral and plant, or I guess like, right, 2-dimensional is like, right, a piece of paper. So whatever I draw on a paper, right, I can draw a little person. Don't mind my drawings, they're horrible. We'll make it a girl. And we'll give her a little star. And we'll call her S. Right, so now my 3D character with my pen in hand just made, right, man-made, I have an idea, a character on 2D paper. So when we develop Sims and what have you, there's certain, like, right, dolls, stuffed animals, characters, that when we draw, that actually do come to life, develop a consciousness, because everything is created and developed from the consciousness. Imagination is the true essence of creation, right? Use your childlike imagination, right? Imagination nation, to rise the vibration. So now we can even, like, right, maybe we don't want her to just be alone, because now she's just in this little flat universe all by herself, right? So now also she can see, like, if she can see, she could only see the bottom of what I'm holding above, right? Because she's in a flat, right? If she had eyes to see. So, but if she's absorbing this energy, everything's energy, she sees that, right? The bottom of what I'm holding up. While you see a flower, right? And the woman on the card is also seeing the flower that you see, but she sees the other side of it, right? Tee-hee. Right? I'm just giving an example of perception, right? So is the world flat or round? Depends, right? Which way you're coming in, which way your eyes perceive, where did your consciousness and your energy, your origin, right? Genes of Isis and the jinn, unseen energy, right? E equals MC squared. Give her a little flower over there. And maybe we'll give her a little puppy, right? So a little puppy dog. Don't mind my dog. We just don't want her to be alone. Right? Little ears. It looks more like a cat, so I guess maybe it's a cat. That went right off the window. It's like I told you I can't draw. Hey. It is not my strong suit, so we'll make it a kitty cat. It's a kitty cat. Meow. So it has to be black then. We're gonna make a black cat. So, right. So, yeah. There we go. Meow. Whiskers. Little eye. Cat's eyes. Okay. So now she's not alone. So now we've developed a 2D character, S, and her little kitty cat. Meow. Right? We can call him Whiskers. So we have Whiskers and S, right? And a flower. So now, is she able to see that? Maybe out of her peripheral vision in the corner of her eye, and she's still just seeing that dang flat purple thing. So she just maybe knows purple. While we would learn to recognize, ooh, flower, purple flower. Right? So depending on how we've been, the environments and how we see, and also 4D is time. So things can get dropped down. Anything in a higher dimension can see us. Like, right, we can see, look over, you can see this, I can see this. Anything in a higher dimension can see us, but we wouldn't be able to see them unless something got put into our dimension, and we would still only see part of it, right? Like this is 4D right now, like in time, I'm putting a pen into, but you only could see what I'm allowing you to see. What I decide to stick in there, right? I'm dropping gold. I'm dropping golden nuggets. And then which way is up and which way is down, since we see with our physical eyes, if they're open and an upside down view. I mean, it gets like so effed up in the head. It's like, oh my goodness. So much for the under an hour. Let's see. All right. So this is Uluka Vahini. Uluka Vahini, if I'm saying it right. Or Aluka. Looka? You looking at me? You looka? Are you a looka? Looka Vahini? You looka Vahini? You looking Vahini? Wait, hold on. Wait. You look a Vahini? You look a Vahini? Sometimes, like, right, where it's like, hey, you, right, again, like, achoo! When people say Yeshua to me, I'm like, why? I didn't have awareness with Yeshua, because, again, it's like different. People make names for people. It's like if you have a brother or somebody, and it's like you call him something, but then you find it's like that's what they called him in school, or that's what those other people call him. It's like, oh, wait. So for me, Yeshua is like, because I said earlier, the allergies for me is a lot of time, the sun makes me sneeze. So when I look at, right, the sun, I'm allergic to the sun. I've been allergic to the sun for a long time. The sun makes me sneeze. It's like, Yeshua. So it sounds like Yeshua. right? I'm like, oh my God, I laugh so hard. So for me, everything's vibration, right? Like Tesla said, right? To understand the secrets of the universe, think in terms of frequency, sound, and vibration. So something may sound, or we have a word and a word we hear, we put a definition to it, and we have a feeling, and oh, I know what that is. But wait a sec, because the etymology, where did it originate from? And even like Phoenician is sound, right? So it's like the way things sound, everything was done verbally way before. So there's so many languages that are unknown to man, that are the way that, right, man's language, how we've created, right? Like how I just spelt whiskers, right? That's a spell, right? I spelled a word, right? And there's 8 letters in it. Go figure too. I'm like, wait, what? Speaking of the 8. Oh Lord. Oh, that just took me down a whole nother rabbit hole. I'm not even gonna go there. All right, stop it. Okay, I am the goddess. Ooh, I am the goddess of karma, wealth, and balance. That's what's up. I came to correct adharma, that which is dark, unnatural, and against nature, life, love, and goodness. I redress the misuse of wealth and power. Wow, this is so big right now. I enact divine justice and restore divine order. Innocence of your own soul, and fear not, for I am ever watchful, and my power brings truth. Divine justice is always brought to bear. So it's like, right, don't freak out about stuff people are trying. It's like, I'm aware lots of people have been trying to do lots of stuff and setting things up for over 5 years. And it's like, so yeah, it's like, just, yeah, I see it. And I keep, and then other readers or what have you, sometimes I get guided to like read the title of their thing or see it, and it's like, yeah, all in tune with the messages I'm getting or with what's happened, and then they're bringing things up into like, right, into fruition. It's like, so just pay attention to like what comes in and out of your energetic fields, so that you can have a little bit of awareness and like confirmation of stuff like you weren't sure of, like in the past, or you'll start to hear and see like little synchronicities that, right, like drop little give it's like, ooh, here's a little piece of something that you might need. All of a sudden you get a little piece of the jigsaw puzzle, and it's like, oh, that's what that was for, or that's why I experienced that, or that's why I was like kind of made to remember what that person said, like, right, 7, 10, whatever years ago. It's like something that kind of sticks with you. It's like, right, like clothes hanging on the clothing line, either an image or it could be dirty laundry, or it could be an image, right, like in the dark room where a picture is hanging up, right? Like, I'm not quite sure what that's for, but it means something. Or something that keeps repeating in our heads, right? We don't want to keep repeating records that don't need to be repeated. So, but something that comes up again and again, right? Either that's something we have to take a look at that's being put into our energetic field in order to distract us. So it's like, fucking break that record. Imagine it like melting or something. Like, get rid of that record. If it's something that's causing you harm to yourself and making you not feel good, just burn that. I have to do that too. I mean, it's like, because I get myself stuck constantly. It's like, I just totally freeze. Oh, it's very annoying. And I don't feel it's not like I'm paranoid, but something gets my energy stuck. And then I become unmotivated. And then it's like, oh, I can't do it now because then da-da-da, and da-da-da-da, and I should have done it before, and blah, 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 blah. Now I da-da. So then I beat myself up in a whole nother way after I, like, was in my stuck, right? So, and I'm aware of it, and I'm speaking of it, right? It's like something that's held me back for a long time. And I don't know if it's held me back necessarily, or just held me along the shore so that I didn't jump into the ocean and get carried out to sea, right? So sometimes it's like, even though I would love to jump in and stick my toes in and get the hail in there, you know, whether by myself or with everybody else and play, right? My spirit guides, my energy within is like, nah, right? Then yeah, the light, right? The light might be green. Everybody else is in there looking like they're having fun, but for some reason, I'm not supposed to stick my feet in there. I'm not supposed to go play with them right now. It's like I can't, or I can't, reach out and engage with a person, place, or thing that I would love to help, or that has asked for my help, or asked me to do something, or that I'm aware could use or needs my help. It's like, oh, like when Nemo, when he meets Crush, that keeps coming up too, and one of his little turtle dudes gets like sucked out of this jet stream, and he's like, and Nemo's dad Marlin goes to go get him, and the big turtle's like, Crush is like, dude, let's just see what little man does. Right? Sometimes we have to let our children go, right? Like they're riding a bike. It's like, oh, we got to let them go, and they might fall and they might hurt themselves. They may even bleed and start crying. We don't like to see our kids hurt, but if we don't let go, they're never going to learn how to balance by themselves. And we absolutely will never be balanced if we're always worried about them not being balanced, being able to balance, right? A little more that's coming through. All right, let's try to stick to I'm gonna try to stick to this. Waste your valuable time and energy worrying about people getting away with things. It's not possible. Everything is balanced out by karma in the long run. If you feel down or depressed, take action immediately to reconnect to joy, healing energy, and vitality of spirit. How can you do that? Right? Tell yourself, I am safe, I am love, I'm okay. I'm gonna go dance to some music anyway, right? Get a song in your head. Try to put some music on. Get the fuck out of your fucking head. Get out of your head. Or sometimes we do need to acknowledge it's okay to not feel okay, right? Sometimes people don't like to acknowledge that, right, their negative feelings. So sometimes we need to take some time and space and allow time to be fluid and space to breathe, right? The Logos was with God, which is the Holy Spirit. The breath of life was with God. Now they say the Word was with God. Word. Vibration creates form. They switched that shit. A man with a hand had to write and change that to word, right? Word. Breath comes before words, right? I don't even know what I was saying. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Taking time and space. Yeah, time to be fluid and space for breathing. And breathing, right? Get barefoot, sit under a tree, go hang out in nature, just sit in silence. And notice too, are you able to be silent? Are you able to calm all the thinking that's going on in your head down and clear your mind? Are you able to sit with your breath and witness and feel, observe the emotions that arise and come up and the thoughts that are produced while sitting there? Are you able to let them go so that you're not carrying and being a carrier of disease, holding hostage anything that doesn't need to be, right? Holding onto an emotional or mental thought that, again, is disruptive to your inner environment. We want to take the time to look at those things so we don't keep saying and repeating those things to ourselves. And again, like she said, don't waste your valuable time and energy worrying about other people getting away with things, or being mad or upset with you because you are taking the time and space that you need in order to bring your body and your mind and your mental faculties, right? Your emotional body, your physical body, inside and out. You're bringing yourself into balance. So you're doing what you are supposed to be doing. Don't let somebody else that's not doing what they should be doing dictate or make you feel uncomfortable because they have to learn how to mother effing wait. Right? Waiting for whatever they were wishing and hoping for. But if they're told or asked to wait for something they want right now, then they have a problem. So see, this is where I'm saying, be consciously aware not to fall for the trap, right, of that wannabe bear. All right, let's see. What else? All things are measured and metered by clear divine vision, and your job is to put your faith in the work of the divine. I'm just saying. Whilst you tend to your own journey with trust and commitment. From the perspective of those with awakened hearts, the world can sometimes appear to be a disturbing and frightening place where negative activities lead to prosperity, right? Whilst good and worthy people struggle and suffer. It may appear that those who have wisdom are barely heard, whilst angry people with fear in their heart are afforded attention and power. So I just want to respond to that too, because my girlfriend and I were talking about this morning too, and I mentioned it in this too. People that are yelling and stuff and trying to be dictators, they're just coming from immature, right, under processed, immature emotional place. So they didn't process. So of course they're going to be loud and blah, 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 blah. They're demanding and want it. And if you don't do it, they're going to give you an ultimatum, or they're going to blah, blah, blah. Or you'll just write like, or you'll worry about it. They may not say it. They come appearing as like, oh, I just really would like your help, and you're the only one that could do it. So then it's like, oh, if I don't do it, then nobody can. And did it. So they got you that way too. Careful of the lures. Right? Not all that glitters is gold. And you definitely don't want to, it's like anything glittering, stay the fuck away from that, right? Carol Ann, stay away from the light, not go toward the light. You got to light the light within inside of you. Don't go toward nobody else's light. That's a trick right there. Stay away from there. Get the hell, either stay the hell still or stay still and do like a 180-degree turn and like, yeah, about step. It's like, Satan, get behind me. Have that shit, get the hell out of there. That's someone trying to lure you to get you sucked into their, right? Like then you're sucked in. Don't do that. Don't do that. All right, let's see. It may seem that what matters most is tended to the least, whilst destructive purposes gain mass support. Oh, that's what I'm going to say too. People with wisdom know when to remain silent, right? Silence is golden. And again, autistic, Asperger's, etc., or other, say, other stuff, going silence. People that are silent, you know, I don't have to call y'all out. Sometimes you got to watch out for the silent ones. But others, it's like, right, no, they're using telepathy and empathy, and they're not just blah, 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 blah. Some people are concerned because their children are young and they're like, they're not talking yet and what have you. They're fine. They're fine. They are talking. It's like, are you listening? Listen to your heart. Right? To be a mother, you have to know what a baby wants, and they're not talking. Or you have to be able to tend to your baby, right? Or a child that's developing. To nurture and guide. Same thing. Don't assume, because we're in changing times now. The children are here to show us and others too, like, hey, do you need to talk so much? You're talking a lot of shit. Like, we're like, oh, blah, 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 and blah, 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 and da, 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 and blah, 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 and oh, and then you listen to however many other people have information for you and are telling you this is good, this is bad, this is what you need to do, da da da. Now you're like, oh gosh, now I gotta, maybe I should do that. Man, now you're second guessing yourself. Now you're all over the place. Now you're thinking of your kid, something wrong with your kid, and now you don't want your kid to. So now it got you in an emotional upheaval. You're a fucking mess. Why? Now, I'm not gonna say all doctors are false doctrine, but yeah. What are you, if you're not coming from a spiritual metaphysical perspective that you're including all the bodies into the equation of whoever you're supplying information to, you're a false fucking quack. Sorry. And I have like we were just reading. So it's all good. People get paid a lot to be assholes. That's why it's called debt. Debt. Money's only, you had to borrow it off something that's dead in order to hold that in your hand, right? Money's an IOU. So when people think that they have all this money, they're holding blood. That's blood. And that's the facts. Look it up. It's not even, it's like, it's just what it is. Why are they, again, look at the stories and the narratives that are being put out now. So again, it's like your health is your wealth. And I'm not like, oh, conspiracy and whatever. No, it's literal. First of all, like the song, We're in the Money. What's the stock market exchange? What's your government name with capital letters? What does that represent? Right, so the stuff I'm saying may sound kooky and far out there and like whatever, or like conspiracy or whatever, but it's like, no, not at all. It's no. No, absolutely not. It doesn't mean we go stomping all over the place like, oh no, I'm supposed to. No, that's, again, right, humble. I mean, I talk a lot of shit on here because things are coming out flying to bring things out from the, right, from the under, from the abyss, from the dead. We're bringing shit out. So like when spirits come in, it's like a lot of it can be it's gonna be, it can come out as anger or very abrupt, right? But that don't mean I don't have care, empathy. There's a whole shit ton of fucking ghosts coming through me, right? Possession, right? Like Mary Magdalene possessed, and Jesus, Beelzebub had to, right, get all the demons out of her, right? And that's a whole nother video. But who's claiming possession to things? What's possession? Are you demonically possessed? If you're claiming you own and possess things, yes, you are, because that's why they say the New World Order, you're not going to own anything and you're going to be happy. Because we realize we don't own anything. I don't own my children. I don't own shit. Things come and things go, and along with people, places, and things. So, right, I nurture and love and attend to and help grow what I can, and also try to do my best to leave things alone when I don't need to stick my finger or nose into it, you know, which I ain't nowhere near perfect. That's why it's like, and for me, I tell people, I share with my peoples, yo, like, if I get scared, I jump. I fling my arms out. It's like, don't get mad at me because I may grab, scratch, or like, it's like if I'm watching a scary movie or I'm like walking through a haunted house, because this has happened to me before, I freak out and get scared. It's like, I'm like, ah! And my first thing to do is like, right, open my fingers, or my arms go stiff arm. I just like, they go right out in front of me, bloop, right? So it's like, watch out. It's like, I pre-warned you. Numerous times, right? Like, it's like, if we're gonna be in any kind of, like, yeah, it's like, I mean, not like, it takes a lot for me. I get jumpy, but excuse me, but I'm very calm at the same time. Like, silly shit makes me jump. So am I mean? Do I want to hurt somebody? Absolutely not. No, never. It's why I warn you ahead of time, just in case. Like, if we're gonna go sit at a scary movie, I make sure my nails I don't have no like long nails, or like, yeah, because I get scared. I jump over like those stupid loud sounds that they make, right? Like in a movie, I jump over those. It's like, you know, when you know it too, you know to expect it, and it still gets me. It's like when you're opening a can of Pillsbury dough. No matter how many times I've opened one of those up, and it's been a long time since I've used that or opened them, I used to love those things, especially when I was doing my culinary arts stuff. Or being a mom, that was like an easy way. The crescent rolls and stuff, those things are amazing. You could do so much with biscuits and crescent rolls. Anyhow, when you're mom and having fun, and but yeah, those cans always make me jump, no matter how many times I've opened them. It's like no matter what, when you gotta press the prefer, the part that goes pop. It's like yeah, I know it's coming, and it still makes me jump. So that's a good example just to give you, because it's like my heart chakra. It's like having an aluminum can or something, right? So when we get scared, it's like it gets dented in, right? Right? That feeling. All right. So while destructive, let's see, all right, angle people refer to it may seem that what matters most is tended to the least, while destructive purposes gain mass support, right? COVID's all over with, but now they need millions and billions, $100 billion. They need $100 million for more mass weaponry to help. They're gonna go help. What? It's like, shut up. And you gambled you already gambled hundreds of thousands of dollars at Mohegan Sun after you said you were raising it for COVID relief. While how many people didn't get accepted for COVID relief, but how many politicians went, pole stripping and partying, playing poker. I don't know. Anyway, and don't get mad at me on here because I'm calling you out, whoever you are. Stop being an asshole. It's rude. Anyway, it's over with now. It's like whatever. I ain't the one counting. I just hold on to the scales. They tip one way or the other. A guy said the other day when I was in the store, he was like to the guy, he's like, the penny ain't gonna break me or make you or break me or whatever. But I was kind of giggling because right, that saying, see a penny, pick it up, all day long you have good luck. And pennies used to be made out of copper, right? And you should be able to make 2 cents, right? You have to make sense. Common sense, right? A penny in each hand. You have to be able to rub 2 together, right? They say rub 2 nickels together. Careful with that one. So to make sense, you have to be able to hold a penny, have a penny, right? And it's zinc in one hand, copper in the other. Zinc, copper, zinc, copper, zinc, copper. Electric conductor. You the battery in the middle. Okay. So let's see. While destructive purposes gain mass support and constructive causes struggle to maintain existence, it's very easy with such a view of things for the pure of heart to become angry, bitter, and despairing. Totally. Now, that's part of the trick right there. It's okay to feel what you're feeling, but do not hold on to those feelings. Do not hold on to anger or bitterness or despair, because then you're going to be looking for hope. You got the bitter waters of wormwood, and that anger is going to eat you up from inside and make you produce a grudge right? So feel what you need to feel, allow it to come through, and then let that shit go, because, right, be weary of the bitter waters of wormwood. You don't want to become what you're so upset about. It's okay to feel it, but then don't hold on to it. And we just become the people the beings that we're saying we don't like their behavior, right? We're doing the same thing then. That's when we're repeating the same cycle. And we do not want to have any more repeats. That are right that we're able to see, right? It's like, oh, there's dog shit there, so I'd prefer not to stop that. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Right. However, you are meant to be a light in this world, and it is important that you allow Great Spirit to support you in this task. Safeguarding your state of mind is essential for you to accomplish your life purpose. If you get caught up in negative thinking, stinking thinking, as may happen from time to time, allow Great Spirit to guide you back to the truth of your inner light, right? Don't think you lost it and now you have to go find right? Talk with Spirit, right? The Constitution is written on your heart. And your higher consciousness is always guiding you. Connect with your higher consciousness. Think of the higher consciousness as like a thing coming up above your head that's like then comes out and hangs. It's like it's connected to you, and then comes forward and like hangs forward a little bit, right? So it's like, hey, whatever you're not seeing while you're walking around on the ground, that big giant cosmic consciousness that you're attached to does. So it's like, just, I don't know which way I'm going. You lead the way, and right, and trust the energy that is you, that you're connected to, the higher consciousness with your heart intelligence, right? And great spirit, Holy Spirit, however, right? Okay, safeguarding your state of mind is essential for you to accomplish your life purpose. If you get caught up in negative thinking, as may happen from time to time, allow Great Spirit to guide you back to the truth of your inner light. Remember that the mind is more powerful than any nightmare made by human darkness. You don't have to deny the dark side of human nature or its manifest consequences for the health of the planet. Exactly. But you do need to keep yourself secure within the light so that you can effectively fulfill your destiny as an earth warrior. Joy, happiness, and peace will not diminish your motivation to serve love. Rather, they will ensure you have enough energy to do so effectively. Whether you are facing a sense of injustice in your personal life or feel despair at the choices humanity is making in a broader sense, know that the divine has a grander plan than we can possibly understand. We are here to fight for love and do all that we can to honor what is true for us. So while fighting for love, listen, we are love, right? I am love. I am safe. I am divine. I honor myself. Don't go looking for love or fighting for love, because being a patriot isn't always good, right? They send people to war all the time, or right, or certain ops or missions get put out, and it's like, people thought they were doing something good, but yeah, they got right. So sometimes fighting, that word fight, that's all, because love is unconditional. I may not like what somebody else's behavior is or what somebody else does, or I may even just get annoyed at their energy being around me at that moment. Doesn't mean I don't love them, right? So I can still have respect, honor, and love a person, place, or thing without having to engage in it and what have you, right? It's absolute love, right? It's always unconditional love. So the fight for love is like, right, we're fighting, we want to fight for balance, and yeah, love, we are. What we are is imbalanced, right? So we want to come into a more balanced, harmonious, right, frequency. Ambulance. Give me a little anxiety, right? The sirens. Okay, so oh, come on. Fight. Where are you? Where are you, word? And do all the blah. We are meant to call upon the universe for assistance in all ways possible. We are meant to use our strengths of love, compassion, wisdom, light, and kindness to be kick-ass earth warriors who will never give up, who are smart enough to use every resource they can, including their living connection to Great Spirit. Well, I just want to just quick say, right, because yeah, humans, we have been using every resource we can, right? So it's like now we want to allow, we are the resources. We are, right, from source energy. So you want to allow source to come through you so that we're resourceful enough to know what we need and don't need, so we don't go grabbing for things outside of ourselves, right? Like, and thinking we need all these things, right? Using all these resources, right? It's like so yeah, just the wording sometimes. Including their living connection to Great Spirit, to affirm correct priorities that honor life. In this way, we uplift ourselves and inspire others through our life journey. There are dark forces that want you to lose hope, because they know that when your heart is hopeful, you are unstoppable. Hold on a minute. Again, now hope was left in Pandora's box. Hope is a sin. Don't get confused. It's okay to have hope. It's like, oh, I hope everything's going to work out. Don't rely on hope. Everything got put back in Pandora's box except for hope. If hope got left out of Pandora's box, there's a lot of stories with Zeus, right? Creating an image, allowing something to... So when people think that they're going to be able to get something that doesn't belong to them, they may be left hope in a hopeful state, right? I just hope, I just wish, it's just... So you got to be very... Just caution to the wind on that one. That's all. Doesn't mean like hope's fine and great. It's just, but don't rely on it and don't get confused and don't be misled. We're turning lead to gold here, so don't follow that yellow brick road. And definitely watch out for all the poppies. Aye, poppy. That put you to sleep there. All right. There are dark forces that want you to lose hope because they know that when your heart's hopeful, you're unstoppable. Trust that the divine will take care of this. Trust that karmic forces will balance the scales of higher justice with unerring accuracy. Whilst you do everything in your power to remain connected to the light, to balance, as you bring your loving energy, purpose, and passion to the world. I don't mean to correcting it's right, because I'm not always going to be in the light. I accept my dark side too. So I come from a balanced place. I don't get all caught up in oh, stay in the light and I'm of the light and you're that person that's of the dark and this one's that. It's yo, whoa. We all got all this mess of mixtures of shit. So I don't get too caught up with right, good, bad, this, that, left, right, black, white, wrong, right. Yes, there is those things and they are what they are and whatever, but I'm not getting into no political debates and getting into definite label things like that. I don't look at it and the same. All right, this is a healing process. Okay, that's nice. I had to read it before I said it. All right, so it says you could say this out loud as part of the healing process. If you know me, I don't always like to just say what they try to say, because it's words are spells. So I try to, I didn't ever read this, so. So bear with me, use discernment always, but this is nice right here, yeah. Through unconditional divine love and my own free will, I surrender that which is not rightfully mine. And let it go. Now, it says bow your head and open your hands, palms facing up. Allow this to feel like a position of surrender and vulnerability, right? Like I was saying, be sitting, just see if you're able to sit like that and right, see what thoughts and feelings come up. Are you comfortable? Notice the feelings you're feeling. Is it bringing up anxiety? Are you feeling like you have to get up and rush somewhere else? Right, ants in your pants, can't sit still. It's not a comfortable feeling, right? Breathe through that until you start to notice more calm. And if the thoughts keep coming and now because you're thinking of that, more are going to come and you're going to get more distracted, right? So just think of the word breath. And every time another word comes to interrupt you, breath. Breathe. Breathe your way through. Another interrupter comes in, breathe. Until you can start ignoring those feelings and thoughts. Nope, breathe, right? Because I'm right, air. It says right there. You can see that. Air. It's a little... The Aurora playing cards. I love these. I love these decks. I love my cards. Right, and Aurora is Corona also. Corona, the sun, the Corona, the moon, the ring around the sun, the moon. Aurora Borealis, the Corona Aurora. All right, bow your head and open your hands, palm facing up. Allow this to feel like a position of surrender and vulnerability. You may like to imagine or pretend that you are releasing old energy out of your hands and it is gently dripping into the earth where it can be naturally transformed by the earth's mother. alchemical power. Take a few moments here. Absolutely. Don't be afraid to let go. Remember that you could be unintentionally holding on to things that you don't even want. Or you could be holding on to things that you thought you wanted and needed, but that are actually in the way of you receiving what will be amazing, helpful, wonderful, and perfect for you in all ways. When you are ready, raise your head and hands back to a comfortable position. Love can conquer anything, even karma. Through divine grace and mercy, I call unconditional love to cleanse, purify, and assist me now in all ways. May divine love flow through me to manifest the will of Great Spirit in the world. May all beings who have become lost in darkness be mercifully guided back into the light of divine love through the grace of Great Spirit. So be it. And yeah, because there's corners of really dark places. So I'm not talking about, like, when I'm saying about dark, think there's a difference between natural light and dark. Everything's birthed in the dark. Okay? The light is birthed in the dark. So the dark, the original darkness is first. Darkness. Right? A seed grows in the dark. A star grows in the dark. Right? A fetus grows in the darkness of the womb. All things grow in the dark, right? A thought and a feeling comes in through our body where we can't see in the dark and produces things that then we decide to or not to go with, right? And manifest, produce, right? So everything is born in the dark. Now, after the light is born from the dark, the light can cast a shadow, right? Or once we've been walking around on two legs and created light bulbs and things, we can turn lights off and make darkness and make other people fear false light. The dark, once the false light is shut off, right? Which light bulbs are great, right? It's an idea. A light bulb represents an idea also, right? So however way we're looking at this metaphysically, right? You gotta look at it in many ways. Every word has at least 5 meanings. So if I say light bulb, I could be talking about a light bulb right here. And I'm also speaking of, like, oh, I had a thought. Oh, the light bulb went off in my head and then started producing thoughts, right? Ooh, like Miss Doubtfire. Ooh. Okay, I don't know why I just put you on my lap like that. Anyhow, all right, so relax for a few moments, feeling gratitude and fullness of your heart. You have completed your healing process with Aluka Vahina. You look a Vahina? You looking at me? Okay, so much for being under an hour. We got 1:33. And on that note, I love you so much. I'm so grateful for you spending time and energy here on the platform in the metaphysical portal. And yeah, please come back. Please share and like, and if you have not already subscribed, I would so appreciate it. And just keep vibing, Soul Tribe. Right? Don't worry so much about the thoughts, right? The things that we think, the thoughts we think and the feelings we feel and what they are, how we're used to interpreting them. We're allowing them to be a little more fluid so that we have more ability to swim in this age of Aquarian. Woo woo. So just keep swimming like they say in Nemo. And I'll see you next time. Later, Earth Warriors. Never forget, you're divine.